like it was rough getting started. Like as a high school student getting
Yeah.
thrown in there with the masons later.
And you got
for them,
started
right?
at a time where there was a little bit more screaming and yelling.
Yes.
Things were a little bit more rough, like you said. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. I always tell people, the younger guys are all taking over masonry
Yep.
now. Like almost every company you see is run by somebody our age or
That's
40
right.
max now, especially in my area.
Mics are hot. Here we go. Awesome. Right on. Matt Tichon.
How's it
Welcome
going?
to the Masons Conversations. I do want you to know you are the second guest to help us christen this studio. So welcome. Thank you for coming. I know you came from far, so appreciate that, man.
Yeah. It was a good drive. Only one car in the ditch, but
Nice. Nice.
yeah, no, I'm glad that you didn't have me first.
We have to get the guinea pig out of the way. That's hilarious. There were some little tweaks we had to do, but regardless, it's all sorted out. The first episode went really well.
Good.
We had AT Brick and Stone on, so
I follow them. They're
I know,
seems like cool
see.
dudes. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
young guys too, right?
you'll definitely see them in the summer because they're gonna come around when we have our
Nice.
parties and stuff here,
Great.
and you always attend those. So
yes, it's a good time.
yeah, man. No, thank you. Welcome. Like I said, I know you came from far. Honestly, it looks like you came from fucking Antarctica. I looked at your truck out there.
Yeah, you have to share a picture of that.
Dude, it's absolutely insane. I wish we could pull that up somewhere here, but the snow is literally almost touching the ground at your wheel wells.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it
But-
was. We got storm warnings. So
You're here.
But that drive home when we went to the concrete expo, like that was a rough ride home, even for half the drive home.
Dude,
the wind.
It was for me. It was bad. I was thinking of you.
Yeah, no, I took my sweet time getting.
It
home
was
from
crazy, man. It was like it was whiteout for me at many points in times. There was people who had their hazards on and everything.
Yep.
But anyways, Tichon from Tichon Masonry, welcome. You guys can find him at Tichon Masonry on Instagram. Phone number that we can reach you at
It's
is
519-374-7497.
perfect. Man, I love your content on Instagram. I have it up here now, and I've been following you obviously for quite some time.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of stuff together.
Yes,
we collab
yes.
together, but
Yep.
your content's good. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And we can be happy. I couldn't be happier to be having you essentially as a partner with us, you know,
Yes.
collaborating, doing projects together.
Yeah, no, it's been a good time.
So for the viewers who don't really know Tichon and my relationship, he was working with us at TMC Masonry. You were with us for a bit there.
Yeah, it was a bit, and then on and off for a while, and then we started started handing me your own little projects, and I was thinking about this earlier today before I came on. I'm like, it's over 24 things I've done, little things I've done for you, in not so long a time. Like it's more than that. I just was sitting there, I was gonna tally it up, but there's been a bunch, and lots of interesting jobs. Some went well, some were a trick, but they all got done, and no, it's been great.
Yeah, man. No, you've definitely helped out TMC Masonry. So much respect to you and Tichon Masonry. One question that we like to start off with, and we're going to continue to do this through most of our episodes, is what does blue collar mean to you? I know it's a good one.
It's a good one. Well, it's hard work. It's a whole different lifestyle, I think, than a lot of people realize, right? Like, working out in the conditions this time of year and in the rain and in the wind, like people don't realize how tough that really is.
That's right.
And, but it's got to get done. And, at the same time, I couldn't imagine sitting in an office or doing a factory job. Is factory work considered blue collar? I don't know.
I don't know. But I definitely couldn't do it.
and essentially, we are standing in the same spot, the bricklayers anyways, building up a wall, production, right?
Yeah,
but,
production.
It's, I just, at least we see different scenery all the time, or we get to work with different materials.
Absolutely. We get to experience all 4 seasons.
Exactly. So, blue collar. It's, I don't know. I don't think I'd personally have it a different way anyways.
Yeah, man.
It's something that, you can be proud of, looking back, and, I can drive almost any town within 2-3 hour radius of where I live, and I can say, oh, I worked there, I helped on that school, or did that chimney, or it's just I don't know, it's been a part of my life for over half my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, started doing this in high school as a co-op.
Nice.
And,
It's awesome, man. Yeah. Blue collar is, definitely a lifestyle.
Yes.
And it definitely, brings out an individual's true masculinity. Do you know what I mean? So, and I know you are definitely one hell of a man. So, I know you know all about that, but that's kind of what it means to myself and Eddie.
Yes.
And we also appreciate being a part of that industry.
Yes.
And we're also, the goal for this podcast, Matt, is to help inspire and welcome more of the younger demographic into our industry. It doesn't necessarily have to be masonry.
Yep.
It could be any trade within the construction industry.
Exactly.
But as well as helping them get a better understanding of what blue collar is and how blue collar is not what a lot of other people make it out to be, right? Because there is a lot of negative.
There's a lot of stereotypes.
That's right. So that's why that was one of our focus points on why we created this podcast and to bring like-minded individuals like yourself a part of it to help share your stories and help younger individuals understand that this isn't, all so bad. And there is a lot of money to be made in this industry. So
there is.
No, yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. And how long have you been in the trades for?
So I've been in the trades, like I said, so I started a high school co-op in grade 11, which I would have been 17, I think, at that time.
So you got
I'm
a lot
34
of years.
now.
Got a lot of years in.
Yep. So half my life anyways.
Yeah.
And before that, I'd help my old man. He's a stucco guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
I was going to say that.
I've been on jobs since I was 9 or 10 years old, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So
a lot of experience.
Yeah. So
a lot of experience.
I decided masonry was something I thought was cool, but my other option was try to be an electrician. And I don't know if I'd trade it for that, to be honest. Nothing wrong with being an electrician. But there's certainly a demand for masonry.
Yep. I believe it is one of the top dying trades in the industry.
Because, in all honesty, it was rough getting started. As a high school student, getting thrown in there with the masons later.
And you got started at a time where there was a little bit more screaming and yelling.
Yes.
Things were a little bit more rough, like you said.
Absolutely. I know. I always tell people, the younger guys are all taking over masonry now. Almost every company you see is run by somebody our age or 40 max now, especially in my area. All the old guys have retired, but all the old grumpy, screaming guys, right? So now
the Germans, the pork chops, the Polacks. Yeah,
exactly. So, getting screamed at was a daily occurrence. Yeah. Even if you're good, you do one thing wrong, something.
Still.
And they were angry men, and you learned fast though.
It happened to the best
still,
of
it
us.
doesn't need to be that way.
No, things have definitely changed, and I knew going into business, especially with all the employees that I have, you got to give them respect.
Yes,
because obviously in turn you're hoping to get that respect back, which
Absolutely.
I do from all my employees, even subs like yourself.
Yep.
Respect is important, man.
Absolutely.
You can't just be yelling and screaming at people like before. I get it. Yes, diamonds are made under pressure. But to a certain extent,
I think, you turn a lot of people away, especially in masonry, you see a lot of people that don't last very long. And it could just be because they're I'm not going to put up with this.
It's the environment they're in, the people they're dealing with.
Exactly.
Man. And that's why, this can lead me to my next question is, what do you think about the culture of family when it comes to teams working together?
I think that, it's especially the way you run things, you're on the site working a lot. I know you got more than one site now, and we're going back, but you were there working your ass off. Yeah. You were there till dark most times, and you were there before everyone else. Yeah. And
the grind.
The family, but when the boss is there working harder than any employee there, it's it helps drive everybody else. Of course, I think, rather than just some guy who's doing whatever and not part of the company. You don't see his face,
hiding in the truck.
Big company. You've expanded huge since I was an employee of you. Yeah. But you're still there making appearances. Of
course.
And
of course,
it's you got to have a good work environment. Family. Everyone. Even everyone that works for you that I know. Every time I see them or every time I come out to a party or whatever, it's all so masonry family as a whole, even if I don't see them every day, right?
Yeah.
So I have them all on social media. It's great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. I know, that culture is super important because that's what creates, the longevity of an employee, right?
yes.
And I really don't like to call people employees. I refer to team members.
Yes.
Because we're a team and they're members of the team.
Absolutely.
And, here's the thing, we spend most of the time with the team members of TMC Masonry. Like, I spend more time with them than I do my own family.
Absolutely.
So it's best to create the culture of family because you want everybody to get along and come to work and be happy, and not just roll out of bed and be all groggy and all grumpy and come to work bringing your life problems and all the other shit that goes along with it.
And I've worked for a lot of companies in the past where it was like that. Everyone just showed up. They didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And they couldn't wait to get home. And not that you want to spend all day at work every day, but at least it's nice when you're there. Especially, I had no problem showing up working with you guys. It was great. Well, probably the most fun I've ever had working for somebody.
And where were you driving from, Matt?
Hanover.
From
Cambridge to Kitchener.
From Hanover
to Embro to all sorts of different sites with you.
Dude, and
in the winter, usually.
That's dedication, man. And that just goes to show what type of person you are, what type of team player you are, because it doesn't matter where we were working. You showed up, driving all the way the fuck from Hanover. There was people that were working with us from Kitchener that couldn't even make it to a Kitchener job site on time, let alone Hanover. So kudos to you, man. No, that's good. That's awesome. And most of your work is like, what's your service area?
I go pretty far. Like the furthest I usually go is stuff for you. Like, I've done a lot in London for you.
Oh yeah, man. Heritage,
I've done a job in
Windows
Toronto
and
or Oakville for you. Lots in Kitchener. I know Heritage, it was lots of jobs there. And generally my service area would probably be, mostly in my town of Hanover, Walkert and the surrounding areas. But I would say venture out, within 45 minutes. That normally is my work area, but I'd say 80% is within 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then, the odd time I'll journey out for you. Or
I know, and mine are always far for you.
They're always far, but it's always,
you
it's
make
hard.
It happen though.
Yes, it's hard to get people to do those jobs sometimes. So, they want to stick close to home, and there's lots of work close to home, but it's...
I was going to say, like, who's out there when it comes to outfits, at your scale that are tackling those jobs? Like, is it like you're primarily?
There's not much out.
Yeah.
Like
so Tichon's got all the market share.
Up there I sure do, because like everyone, any masonry companies doing houses or a little bit bigger projects, right? Like there's one, I think we only have one that's doing real big commercial stuff, and they're guys I went to high school with as well.
Yeah.
And but to get someone to do a chimney, like I show up to these places and it's like, oh, I've been trying to find someone for 2 years, 4 years, and they come out and give quotes and they don't show up, and because no one wants to do it. Right?
Tichon Masonry to the rescue.
So that was a real eye opener when I started doing these things, because people were just pulling over like, oh my God, someone's doing a chimney.
Where did you drive from? I'm here. I'm here from Hanover.
Yeah, one guy pulled up and he's like, I was doing a chimney in Hanover. He lived in Walkert, and he's like, where did you come from? I'm like, I live here.
I came
I've been looking forever.
I came from masonry heaven to fulfill all your wildest dreams.
And but it's mostly in Hanover.
Nice.
So, and
other than the shit I threw at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one coming up for Tichon Masonry, all the way to Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Hey, but that's a good one.
Yes, that's a good one. That is a good one. So
lots of blocks, man.
Lots of blocks and some brickwork, some
fill
in windows, some cut in windows. I think
it's everything you love.
I like doing that.
So
right.
So. Leads me to a great question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love about masonry?
I love just that basically everyone can see what you did.
Yep.
Right? Like visually. Like you have to do a good job.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
nobody's covering our shit
in your own town, people are going to be talking, hey, Matt did that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what happens every time someone does do something bad, like it's like you got
talk of the town.
Exactly. And I'm sure it's different in the city. Everyone doesn't know everyone, but
there's still that community, man. There's still those shit talkers and the critiquers, and they're there.
No, it's great to like visually be able to see, and it's so everything like a lot of jobs are very unique. Like it's not like if there is something visual, like you installed some pot lights or did some drywall, it all looks the same generally, right? And brick, it's like you could be working on 100-year-old house plus, or a brand new, or stone, brick, or block. It's all it's all different, and I just like that it's there for the rest of my life. I'll be able to see it right?
No doubt.
Unless it gets demolished for some
That's
reason,
right.
but that doesn't happen very often.
Dude, masonry stands the true test of time.
Exactly.
So, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed so much. And just like you said, visual.
Yeah.
It's an art, man. Like I just literally, I had a conversation with the last guest.
Yeah.
Artists have their palette with all their different colors and their paintbrush and their canvas.
Yeah.
Similar with us.
Exactly.
But our tools, our trowel, our palette is the mortar board with the mortar, and our canvas is the wall.
Yeah.
Whether it's the northeast, southwest wall, that's our canvas, and it's time to get creative and get going, right? So that's what I love about it. But you mentioned working on really old like houses and churches and shit like that, right? So have you ever seen anything cool left in the wall? Like if you had to like open up a section, cut in a window or something?
Mostly old newspapers that people would stuff on the walls and stuff like that, but old cigarette,
that's their old insulation.
And some were from the 20s, some were from the 60s.
Really?
That's
cool.
And it's funny to see like dealership ads for vehicles. And you get a brand new truck for $7,000.
And now look.
Or the wage people were making back then. It's like now hiring. It's like $3.25 an hour, right? And so what I do is I
wish I could pay employees $3.25 an hour now.
But what I do is I'll either stick an old like a business card. Or
Dude,
I do that on every job. I hide
that is
something.
Sick.
Yep. So
I
then
love that.
150 years from now,
I love that.
Should still exist.
Yeah.
I hope. But I'll put something in there.
That's amazing.
Even an old coffee cup.
That's
I'll stick
amazing.
A card in, right?
Tichon Masonry putting in time capsules.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And even when I worked in the union or for other companies, like we would do a block wall or something, I will stick like a pay stub in there that I got when I got paid. They had to check that because a lot of the union companies pay in check for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you rarely get direct deposit with them.
Yeah.
And the pay stub or whatever. Put the pay stub in, so then people can look at what we make now and be like, oh wow, I can't believe they worked for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
like, wow.
But it's always something I find something to put in, and
that's sweet.
Yeah, no, it's kind of neat because like. I've done lots of jobs, so surely one day, long after I'm gone, it'll be opened up, and
that is cool.
So I thought that's kind of neat. So I started doing.
I like that. I'm gonna start doing. Eddie, keep this. Remember this, okay? Make note of this. We're definitely gonna be putting some time capsules.
My original boss, who I started with, like I was telling you before, his shop burned down.
Yeah.
So we demolished it and we rebuilt a new one, but he would have built that shop in the 80s, I guess, probably.
Okay.
And he was a heavy smoker and drank his whiskey, and you know, everyone drank beer on the job back then, and they're all in the cores of the block, whiskey bottles, cigarette packs, all preserved.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of neat seeing the old stuff. And I found a metal cigarette tin once. It's kicking around at my parents' place somewhere because that was back when I was a teenager.
Take that to the Antiques Roadshow. Maybe you'll get some good bucks for it.
Yep. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, other than that, nothing too exciting. But
give me an idea.
Yeah, it is.
I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is going in the wall, okay? We're gonna put this time capsule in the wall, okay?
Exactly.
This will last forever.
Yep.
No, that's awesome, man. So when it comes to doing those types of jobs, chimneys, because this is your specialty.
Yes.
So is chimneys, brick replacement, stone replacement, some block jobs if you're cutting in vents or whatever it is in commercial areas. Like I know you've done some stuff. Yeah. Like how do you go about charging that? Is that mostly like time and material? Because you know your worth, right?
So I don't usually work for a set. I figure out my how long it's going to take me, and I do have a rough idea what it. But then I give them the price. Generally, it's very rare I will work hourly.
Okay.
And I think it's just better, then they know the price.
Yeah.
There's no surprises.
Firm.
This chimney is going to cost you this much.
Yeah.
And it's usually always, there's been times where I regret doing that because, but you got to eat it sometimes, but things
sometimes
don't go as planned.
You're opening up a can of worms,
Exactly.
man.
Whereas if I would have just went hourly, I would have been safe, but.
Time and material,
exactly.
Right?
So some jobs, especially pointing, I will though. Yeah. I will just tell them because it's hard.
Here's my rate,
and
that's it.
That's the thing, it's not like here's a chimney, I'm going to replace your chimney. It's like how picky is the customer going to be? Like, they only want they don't want to do the full repoint, they want to do the bad spots. Well, like what do they define as really
what's
bad?
a bad
right?
spot?
So exactly, like our opinions might be totally different. So normally it's me being pickier than they are, but
that's right.
It's just like hourly's the best for stuff like that where
kind
you
of
just
saves
have no
yourself.
clue.
Yeah.
So. But generally I figure out how many days or how many hours it's going to take. Some jobs, sometimes I do 3 jobs a day.
Yeah.
They're just tiny. I'll just
the more you can pump out, the better
exactly.
too.
But sometimes, my average job will be 2 or 3 days, probably, on a bigger chimney.
That's okay.
Because it is just
less
me.
mobilizing, demobilizing.
Yes. And that's just, how it goes, I'll get a quote for the materials and then.
Yeah, I was going to say, you supply all the material, everything.
Materials usually, yes.
So, good.
Sometimes there'll be jobs where they're like, oh, I have a bunch of old reclaims I want you to use or something like that. And, then they'll have it, but usually it's not enough. And I got to go find more.
Of course.
Because, they don't realize how many bricks that's going to take.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
But.
Where are you finding the old brick to match these jobs that you're doing? Because that's a fucking pain in the ass. I know I've tried to source some.
Yeah.
And you're making phone calls to endless amount of suppliers. Yep. Ontario signs, this color, this texture.
Yeah, that is the biggest challenge of my job, I would say.
Sourcing material.
Luckily, you start to know people in the area that have stuff laying around. Like my one buddy has a bricklaying company too. He's mostly residential, but he has a stockpile of yellow bricks for whatever reason.
Perfect.
My buddy that I went to high school with called me up and wanted some advice on. He bought a house.
Okay.
Hasn't been lived in since the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And he's tearing it down.
Okay.
And the brick was in excellent condition. So he was like, how should
Salvage
I go about doing this? And him and his buddies got together on I don't know if it took 1 weekend or 2, but I went over there to grab a few bricks. And I said, I'm going to buy some off you. I need some right away.
Yeah,
He's like, okay, just go up there all under the tarps. They had the whole house down.
Amazing.
And they were chipped perfectly clean.
Every brick.
Piled beautifully on a skid. There's thousands
Love
of them.
that.
So, now I got a good source for beautiful yellow brick because he's got tons of them.
The old, frogs.
Exactly. Like this house is from the early 1900s. And
dude.
Yeah, so that's a good source there. And then I save a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Like if I tear down a chimney, they don't want the chimney anymore. It's leaky. It's getting in their house. They want it shingled over. I'll save those bricks. I'll save bricks from window cut-ins. Like at my dad's place, I pull in there.
Is that your yard?
It's a brick graveyard.
That's your yard. Yeah, I figured that was your yard.
There's skids everywhere, and I thank you to my old man for letting me do that.
Doubt.
Yeah, I save everything.
Yeah.
And
well, at least you don't have to lease a place somewhere.
So it's good that way. And I save a lot of things.
Good.
And just people I know locally that have contacted me.
Yeah.
Hey, I got these bricks. I got these bricks. I got this and that. And I'll come pick them up, or I'll say,
why not?
Wait, if you don't mind them sitting at your place, I'll get around because I surely will need them at one point.
That's right.
And
that's the thing, you can use older material.
Now, I don't know if this company's still in existence, but back when I worked for my original employer, he had a demolition buddy, and they were out of Brussels, and they would save all the bricks, and you could go there for reclaimed bricks all the time.
Cool.
I don't know if they still exist, but I was thinking about that the other day. I forgot all about. I should look it up.
Have you heard of timeless material or something? I forget. They're in Waterloo.
No, I haven't.
So they would stock reclaimed brick as well.
Really?
But they have old barn boards, everything. But they also had the reclaimed brick as well.
I might have to look into that.
Yeah, and it's expensive though.
Reclaims cost generally more than new bricks.
They cost more per brick than a Premier Max size brick here, your average clay brick.
Yep. And I guess there's a lot of work to chipping them off, piling
cleaning
them nice,
them.
And
there's time and money
in
cleaning
a lot of labor in that. There is Patine sells them, and you can get them at my local yard in Hanover. There's a Heritage Series brick. They're Ontario size, but they're a little bit larger than most. Ontario is, I don't know the exact measurements offhand.
Yeah.
These always end up being a bit taller, which is annoying because if you want a perfect job, I got to slice.
That's right.
A 1/4 inch off them, or like a blade's width.
Yeah,
but
if you're installing a bunch of those,
I did a job where I had to replace 250 bricks on a house. There's just bad ones all over.
Yeah.
So I had my buddy helping me that day, and his job was just to cut them beautifully.
Cut that blade off.
Just the
crazy.
And, no, they match very well. They make a yellow one. The yellow one's not so good.
Okay.
But the reds, and they got there's I think 10 different ones, so you can mix them in. There's darker ones, and the neat thing about this, I think it's Skycon is the company.
Okay.
And each side is different of the face of the brick, just a bit different color Somehow they do that. So like the dark ones, it's lighter on one side and darker on the other. So you can flip them.
You can use both sides.
You can kind of mix them, you know, if you want. Yeah, so it's really cool. And I've used those bricks a lot. I just, you know, if you're going to tear down a chimney and rebuild it, it's great because then the size discrepancy doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah.
But if you're replacing them, it's kind of a pain. But
of course.
They do match almost, like you can usually never tell from
That's awesome.
a few feet away anyways.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
No, that's good because I got another project I got to share with you. And it's an older brick. So we're going to have to do some playing around there with sourcing the stuff and the color and everything. It's, you know, that's a process on its own.
Yes.
But it's cool, man. Obviously, the more you do it, the more connections you build.
Absolutely. Because you know who to ask.
That's it.
Right?
Your network grows in this industry.
Exactly.
So when you are looking for things like that, you got a list of 5 to 10 people you can call.
Yes.
And you're bound to find that product somewhere.
Exactly.
You go to Mason's Masonry?
I went there once, and that was...
Same, just
once.
No,
that job for you in Oakville at the first Metro job I did with you. Do you remember that? Somebody splashed concrete. They were doing a sidewalk, and I had to cut out all those. And they said they had the bricks there, but they only had one size, but it was two sizes mixed.
That's right. I remember this.
I knew the brick, luckily offhand, and Mason's was the closest place. I called them up. And I went there, and I never knew this place existed. I think they got a few locations.
That's a cool place,
but yeah, it was in Mississauga.
That's the one I went to.
Yeah, and it was only a 20-minute or something drive from the job. And it's the great thing about Mason. I sent you this when you were trying to match something once. Is they got like a bookcase.
I seen that there.
All the bricks, so you can just look.
It is cool.
And I got that picture saved on my phone.
Yeah,
and they have all the names. So even if I don't buy anything off it,
that one day,
and it's so handy because at least you know the name, so you can call some places maybe more local.
Yeah,
and that picture has helped me a lot,
dude. Yeah, I didn't know. So they gave me a number that I can text as well.
Oh, that's handy.
So
you got to send me that number.
I will. I can take that brick. I can take a photo of it and text it to them.
Okay, that's great.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes, that is.
So,
cool.
And that's what I had to do the one time, and then they ended up saying, "Yeah, I got it." So I drove down there instead of wasting my time going all the way from Woodstock all the way into Mississauga for nothing. So, but it was a cool place, a cool facility. Yeah, their showroom's pretty nice.
Have you been back to the yard?
I haven't been in, actually, yes, I did because I had to pick up
endless.
Brick. Dude, I went back there with my 30-foot gooseneck. It's tight back there.
Yes, it is.
So I was making some crazy corners. I had quite the audience. But
no, I went down there. I went back there.
Place.
I didn't have my trailer on though because I only needed I don't know 30 bricks or something. So I disconnected the trailer.
You know,
left
it's
it on
funny.
The job.
I only needed like 10 bricks.
Yeah,
but I had it on from what I was doing previously, and I didn't want to unhitch. And long story short, I made it happen. I didn't fuck anything up. But I do like that place. And that was the first time I ever seen the IQ dustless saw, which we spoke about when we went to the expo.
Absolutely. Yeah, my buddy has one of those, and it is great for winter work.
Dude, and the tarps, you could cut in the tarps. No dust.
No dust.
Like zero? Like, have you used this?
Yep.
And zero dust.
Yep. And then we were talking about the quick cut, which I didn't know exists, but you were showing me that.
The quick cut, yeah. Because there's the IQ table saw.
Yep.
No water, no nothing.
No, it just has like a vacuum or a container. I don't even know how it works, but it works good. But
neither do I. Yep. And then, there's the quick cut.
Yep.
Which has the blade. I believe it's only 12-inch blade. You can't get any bigger. And then huge canister.
Yeah.
This thing looks like it belongs like with the Terminator or something. Mm-hmm. And then your average looking, engine covering and everything at the back.
Yep. And was that a gas powered saw?
That was gas.
It was, yes. Okay.
That was gas.
So that's cool. Yeah. I mean, like electric's cool, but if you're working all day making cuts, the battery.
I'm all. Give me that combustion engine.
On jobs,
give me that combustion engine.
Yeah.
But on another podcast that we were on, TCL, big shout out to TCL and Manny over there. We brought you up as the Milwaukee King.
Yeah, I was just watching.
So now everybody who's tuning into this knows who the Milwaukee King is, and this is Matt Tichon right here.
And there's more than I post. I got so much in my garage. I got miter saw, chop saw,
you just can't fit it all in your truck.
No, exactly.
And he's got a big truck,
right?
So,
but no, I got all kinds of, even outside of masonry tools, like especially getting into jobs like this. Like you never know what you're going to run into. You never know when you got to cut plywood, you got to cut wood, or need to drill holes with the hole saws.
Dude, you're the first one I know, and the only one right now, as it stands, with like diamond sawzall blades.
Yes.
Never seen that in my life.
I thought of that one night. I was half asleep dozing off. It was like almost like half a dream. Like, wouldn't that be cool if that existed?
Yeah.
So I Googled it, and Hilti makes it.
Yeah.
I think Makita makes one too now.
Tell me that story about what happened.
Okay, so hopefully no one from Hilti's watching this ever. So I went into the Hilti store in Kitchener.
You're gonna get a bill after
Yeah,
this.
I'm gonna get a bill after this. $99 a blade.
Yeah.
They're expensive because they don't last that long.
Okay.
Because it depends on like the hardness of the mortar.
Yeah.
You can get, if it's a soft mortar, they're great. A hard mortar, you know, what I'll do is I'll get it started with my 9-inch grinder, which is, or the quick cut or whatever. But you can get them in 9 or 12 inch blades. So I got the 9-inch, which is more than enough to cut, you know, into any kind of brick. But like it goes in there and it just cuts the joint out.
Perfect.
And it's so nice. Actually, you know what? The blade, the material that cuts lasts long. The weakest point of that is where it connects into the Sawzall. They always snap there. But I ordered one to try it out. $99. They don't stock them.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you order me one? I'll come pick it up because I was working with you. I think when I ordered that.
Yeah.
And I think I gave you one. I'm not sure. I gave somebody one on your crew, anyways. Maybe,
okay.
I know.
Well, it wasn't me.
It was a former employee.
Okay.
Yes, now or currently, but they ordered me one, and they said we'll ship it to your house.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I paid them. My fiance, there's a box at the door from Hilti. I'm like, oh, great. And she picks it up. She's like, it's heavy.
Well,
shouldn't be. And somebody at their distribution place must have sent me one case instead of one blade. A case has 25.
Oh,
so I got lots of them. Yep. So
nice.
It's they're great. I mean, I probably went through 5 of them in 2 years. I've had them, I guess. And
dude, you got lucky.
No, it just clicks into the Sawzall.
You're definitely getting a bill for the other ones, for the other 24.
Yeah, they will invoice me now.
No, I don't think Hilti's gonna be watching this show just yet.
Not yet. Maybe just don't do it. Maybe,
it's okay.
When you
get
way bigger, you're there to pay attention to the first episode, second episode, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, Hilti stuff is great. But Milwaukee is what I mostly.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
Don't you got like the drawer in the back? Like
So that was.
What do you call that?
So there's different brands for them. I always call it a bed slide. The one I have is called a cargo glide.
Oh, okay.
And
makes sense.
You can
cargo
get some
glide.
really heavy duty ones. This one is like it's pretty heavy duty, but you can get more hardcore for weight. But that's if you're gonna. I put the cap on.
Yep.
So then I have everything there because I used to run a job box on my back seat full of stuff, which worked fine. But this is nice. You slide it out.
Yeah.
And I have all the pack out cases in there, and I have the bins, like the hammer drills and everything that I use mostly is loose in there, and like harnesses and tools that are so
definitely organized.
Yeah. And it's great because you can just pick them up, carry them where you need them, just set them outside on the truck, and it's
I love that.
It's so handy, and the only downfall is because I don't have the use of a real truck bed now, so I got to take a trailer everywhere.
That's right.
But
still,
I usually do have to.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge deal.
And you have a dump trailer, right?
Yes, I have a dump trailer.
Nice.
I bought that brand new about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I always had access to one I could use for my buddies, but you know, with masonry, you're throwing shit.
That's the thing.
You know,
you don't want to be asking all the time,
right?
either. Yeah.
And you don't want to be asking all the time. And you know, you buy them a case of beer, whiskey, and you know, just I financed it. My payment is equivalent to a few bottles of whiskey, right?
Yeah.
So now I have my own.
That's
it's brand new. It works great.
Yep.
And you know, his is getting older, and then you feel bad if something goes wrong, like the hydraulics screw up or something.
That's right.
And it's like, it's just I just figured, I have my own dump trailer.
It was great to start, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. It was great
because you didn't have to worry about that payment or that investment.
Exactly.
But now where you are at this stage in business, like why not?
It gets used a lot, and when it doesn't, I got a buddy all the time that needs it.
There you go.
So that I give him a good deal, couple
there
bucks.
You go.
Now I'm the one.
You rent
getting
it out,
the case of beer or whiskey or a couple bucks for it, right?
That's awesome.
But and then I got a 16-foot like landscape style trailer with some sides on it. And that's all scaffolding around. I'm gonna pick up some brick, a few skids of brick or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's good for that. And then those are my 2 trailers, and that's all I really need.
That's it. So, you don't need to go crazy. And then what about like scaffolding and stuff?
So scaffolding, I've slowly collected. I bought a bunch of used ones. Actually, I got a real good deal off this old bricklayer. He was about 80, and I showed up to his place with my trailer that I just bought, the first one.
There we go.
And he wanted $400 for, I think it was 5-foot frames with the braces. And some went to the scrapyard. I think I ended up with 12 good ones.
That's
12 sections, sorry, not 12 individual frames. So enough to do chimneys and stuff. Some of them were wonky, like they were old. And then I recently bought another 16 brand new ones.
Perfect.
And every time I see a deal on Kijiji, I'll get.
You got to keep.
I think I have around 40 5-foot frames or so now.
Perfect.
So enough to do a small house.
Yep.
Enough to do any chimney, which, you know, a lot of times, you know, it's, you know, you got to scout. Somebody's got to do more than one section. You know, they're high, but you want to go too wide or whatever.
That's
but
right.
More than enough for anything I do.
Yeah, 40 frames. That's definitely
exactly.
You got your hands on
I got
a
lots
good
of
amount.
16s that the Mennonites make me up my way for a really good price.
Okay, we got to talk.
Yes.
What are you paying for a 16-foot plank?
What do you think? What do you pay?
I hope you are paying more than $60.
$33.
Fucking shit.
Right?
Why didn't we do this earlier?
I know. They don't got a phone, but if you want some,
I don't care,
have to go talk
Matt,
to them.
if I have to send a fucking pigeon, I want those planks.
I drove there. I pulled into one. Because a lot of wood outside. I said, do you
Dude,
make
like, do
planks?
they
you
cleat
sell
them or
planks?
you have to cleat
You got to
them?
cleat them yourself, but that's
So?
whatever. You know, what's the cleats cost? Bang them in, right?
That's
it. A couple bucks. They're heavy because they're fresh, right?
Okay, so they're not like dried and cured.
They just made them.
Oh,
right. That's the only thing. They're made to order, so they are heavy for a while.
So like my laborers they'll hate me.
They'll hate you, but they'll get
So
stronger.
I might have to pay the extra $30-$40 on top of that 30 for my planks.
Yes.
Dude, I'm paying
But
60 to 70 when do you remember when the price of lumber went up?
they were 90 or 100 bucks
Dude,
at one point.
the most I
weren't
paid was 84.
they? Okay, I remember. I think
One plank.
yes.
And I need hundreds.
Yeah, you need hundreds of them.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah, like I get away with 16. I think I got 30 of them. I don't
Dude,
even
I
know if
want
I
to
have
know
30
the
of
weight.
them.
I want to like it'd be even cool if I can purchase a bunch of those and
let them
stock them somewhere so they can dry
Exactly.
for whatever next year or the year to come. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It'd save you a lot of money.
I'm gonna start
And,
TMC bricklaying material company here. I'm gonna start supplying some equipment.
Exactly. But no, I went to this one. He's like, "Oh, you want to go talk to so and so down the road?" Typical whatever Mennonite name it was, you know. And so I drive around the corner and I pull in. And,
Sweet.
"Oh, come into my office. You know, he's a little trailer, and he's like, "Yeah, I can make you some planks."
That's amazing.
Then he told me the price. I'm like, "Oh, 16s, not 8s, right?"
Yeah,
He's like,
make sure.
Yeah. And
That's awesome.
so it was great. I can't tell you what wood. I think spruce, maybe. I don't know what they normally made it of, but
As long as it's
he gave me two options.
As long as it's hardwood.
and they weren't very different in price. So I went with what he said was the better. I don't know anything about wood. So.
Yeah, neither do I. As long as it's a strong plank.
Exactly.
And I put a cube of brick on it, it's not gonna snap through, then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So
and
no,
then
sweet, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, scaffolding. I got the hoist system, you know, for, you know, pulling up pails. Yeah, the pulley system.
Sick.
With the rope, and then.
Do you have the arm that comes out?
Yes.
I have a couple of those up there in the loft there. I never used them.
Oh yeah, they're handy.
So-
you wouldn't need.
No,
need
man.
them, but
Honestly, they're just up there collecting dust. You can take them because I don't use them. I have two of those arms.
Those are great.
So I know, and I got them thinking like, wow, these are awesome.
Yeah.
Who knows when I'll ever use them, but whatever. They came with like a bundle package I bought off Kijiji. So love the Kijiji specials.
Yes, exactly. But a lot of things that I like too is we got a lot of the platforms, you know, the aluminum
Yep,
ones.
that's right.
And you know, if you're going up,
Your
higher
dad probably had a bunch from doing
he's got a whole
stucco,
bunch.
man.
I just use a lot of his when I don't have.
Nice.
I'll take all of his if he's not using them all the time. You know, and they're great because they kind of lock everything in a little bit even better
because they have those
because they got the clips,
underneath.
right? So and then if you're up on scaffolding on like one section, it locks into the outriggers, right? And then you know there's no chance of them sliding off or anything. So it feels a lot safer using those on those kind of jobs. Obviously, when a job like yours, you got.
Dude,
all the 16s.
I don't own a single 5-foot high frame.
No, you
with
would.
the rungs.
Yes, yeah,
none. But I do. I need them because we're involved in a lot more commercial projects now, as you're aware, and especially with the demising walls and things like that.
Yeah.
When you're going floor by floor by floor,
the 5s.
it's better to have
perfect
those.
for those.
It's better to have those.
Yeah.
So
but for
I
what
do
you
want to
generally
invest.
do the 6 and 7 footers or whatever you use are the best
they're
for
6 foot high.
Yeah.
Arch frames is what most people call them.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I need to invest in some of those for those projects. I already had some of the guys saying, Ty, we should, incorporate these. Just bear with me, man. We got a lot of equipment. What's here? Let's use it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, no, that's awesome, man. And I always thought about this when it came to those smaller jobs like chimneys and stuff like that. You've never had to deal with like Ministry of Labor, nothing to do with regards to like safety or anything like that. Nobody's coming stopping
especially
you from work,
my area.
yelling, "Put your shirt on," or something like that.
No, nothing. Like we work safe generally, but I mean, there's lots of stuff that they wouldn't like.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, you don't see them ever. They don't.
That's right.
They're focusing on you guys.
Yeah. They're focusing on us, all right. I'm gonna send them your way.
Scaffolding
Next time, I'm gonna send them your way. I'm gonna go see this guy. He does a shit ton of chimneys, shirts off, no hard hat, no nothing. He's there in sandals. Go see him.
But one thing I did do when I was, winter's obviously pretty slow for me. I don't do a whole lot. My aunt, her husband, has a safety company. Well, she works for him, I guess. They have it together, let's say.
Okay.
But they do all the training and everything it was in Mississauga, so I went there and got all my tickets updated. Because, when you're employed, usually the employer, someone else takes care of that or makes you go do it.
That's right.
So everything I had was expired. I'm like, if I ever do, I'm on they don't ask up at the rental company. Like, I rent my scissor lifts and all that.
No, they
off a Mennonite company, right? So they
don't care if you got it.
So the reason I thought of this was the last addition I did, I don't normally get into houses or additions, but I priced this one and he wanted me to do it in the winter, so I had to get some heat. I don't have heaters. And so they asked me for my propane ticket. I said, I don't have a propane ticket.
Excuse me, sir, do you have your OT?
Yeah.
Nope.
So luckily I knew someone that did, and they went and got it on my behalf.
Nice.
And then I was like, I got to get my tickets because, if
I
I'm
did
up
mine
in a
too
scissor
this
lift
year.
And the ministry ever comes or whatever, I want
then you're safe. They'll just be like, where the fuck's your hard hat,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was helping my buddy.
You're going to need your shit, on that job in Hamilton, just saying.
Yes.
Okay?
Hey, I got all my safety. I got all my reflective. My fiance, it's sitting in the closet. It never gets used.
Yeah.
Why don't you get rid of this? I said, I'll need it one
No,
day.
you're going to need
it. Exactly.
You're going to need it.
I'll need it, right? So, but I was helping my buddy. He has a few houses up in Hanover. He's bringing, hey, you can help me out for, I helped him out for a few days here and there over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The ministry actually did drive by.
Really?
Matt, do you got a hard hat in your truck? Do you got a hard hat too? So I gave one.
This is a smaller job?
Yeah. So this is but this is a big subdivision in Hanover, for Hanover, right?
Yeah.
There's 70 houses going up. And so the ministry, that would get the ministry's attention a little bit. So they just drove by. They didn't come in and say anything. They didn't stop.
Well, that's all right, man.
I mean, there's other trades and other houses, maybe they did go visit them, but
not
they
us. Save all their
so we put our hard hats
us.
on real quick and worked with them for the rest of the day. But
nice.
Yeah, hard hats up in Hanover. See,
hard hat?
Doesn't happen.
What's that?
Unless you work for Hydro or Union Gas or something like that.
Yeah. It's crazy how those guys have to wear it when they're literally nowhere near anything that's going to fall on their head.
Exactly.
Maybe they might bump their head getting out of their truck, but that's about it.
Exactly.
So,
it's they're I can't think of one job that I've worked local to me where we've seen the safety. I've seen them lots of times, obviously on bigger jobs. I've worked in Kitchener and
it's understandable
stuff like that, of course. But one day they'll be driving around and probably come pay me a visit.
But at least you did your part. You have your stuff. You got everything you need. At least if your hard hat is somewhere near you, where you can just throw it on quick. And I'm sure you do wear. Okay, guys, he doesn't wear sandals, but I'm sure you do wear your safety boots.
Yes.
At all times.
Got a nice new pair.
I seen that. That's right. Those are actually really nice boots.
Timberlands, I have to say, are the best boots I've ever had for comfort.
Yeah.
But these are the laceless ones, so I'm going to give them a try.
Seen that.
So there's some iffy reviews on these ones. I'll put them to the test. But
there you go. Dude, Milwaukee's got boots?
They're not out yet.
Okay, I was going to say, what's going on, man?
I would get the shoes and
they
the
would
boots,
be so upset.
because shoes are great for when you're doing a chimney or something, right?
That's right.
You get the safety shoes or whatever. I've never been a fan of the 6-inch boots. I find they dig into the wrong spot in your leg too much. At least that's me. But shoes are 8-inch boots. That's what I generally. But the thing with masonry, especially, you're cutting rebar, you're cutting angle iron, or the mortar eats laces. So
of course,
I was like,
so it's nice.
These out, see if they hold up, because they go on easy, and the worst thing is you melt the laces no matter how hard you try.
That's it.
So. But when the Milwaukee, I've been looking.
I
was trying to find someone that sold them.
I was gonna say
we didn't explore the Milwaukee too much at the Concrete Expo.
Not
I don't know if there was boots there or not. I should have. I was playing with a saw. I didn't see any boots, but as soon as those come out, I'll be getting
definitely
a few different
adding
pairs.
that to the collection.
Yes, I have to. I'm like obligated to.
Yeah. What about the clothing? Like, do you have any of the jackets?
I don't actually. Oh no, sorry. No. I have the heated jacket and the heated hoodie.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, the hoodie is so heavy. I wear on colder days. I'll wear the hoodie over the coat.
Nice.
Because you don't always have to have it on.
Yeah.
I remember showing up to the Metro job when I first bought the coat on the second where you guys did the addition.
Yep.
And then I was doing the patchwork.
That's right.
And I showed up on your job and it was brand new, right? And I had a brand new hard hat too at the time, and I probably had brand new boots on too. And your guys
brand new everything,
this
man.
guy brand new, right?
Yeah, it's his first day.
Yeah, first day. But yeah, no, I had a bunch of the M12 batteries, and in all honesty, though, that hoodie on like cold days, I don't even need to turn it on.
Yeah,
it is so heavy.
That's dope.
And
that's
what
awesome.
should be for $170 hoodie.
Yeah,
but,
no doubt.
You know, but no, it's great. But
that's awesome. I hope they send us some free hoodies after this conversation.
But they got the heated gloves too.
Yeah, dude, they must have socks too now, no?
I don't know.
Because I've seen heated socks. I don't know if they were in Milwaukee, but
they do exist.
I've seen those.
And then they got the vest. That's the next thing I kind of want.
Okay.
The vest would be nice just to throw on. But the batteries on high, I think I get about 3 hours out of a battery. So
really?
If you batteries charged in the truck, you're good for a day.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you got like a crazy battery setup with your the hub.
Yes.
The main hub with like 500 batteries all attached to that thing, the Christmas tree of batteries.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think I got in my garage at home. Because I got the crate full of batteries, and I got 7 chargers lined up.
Amazing.
Put them in. They're all ready.
Just
in the
drawing
morning.
lots of power at home.
Yeah.
That
any chance I get,
bill
if there's an outlet at the customer's house, I'm like, go charge one of those up.
Yeah, charge all 100 of my batteries on this guy's house. Are you going to use those all on this job? Maybe. Well, I'd just like to be safe than sorry.
There was one job where I think I used all my batteries up on one job.
Come on.
I forget what job that was.
Were you taking down like
Oh yeah,
lot of
we
walls
were cutting out a lot of bricks.
That's crazy.
And I got the paddle mixer to mix in a pail. Like if you're just doing a few replacements, right? You're not going to bring a whole mixer, and no one wants to mix in a wheelbarrow.
Of course.
So it's good to mix up at a pail at a time. A bag of premix fits in there, or you do your sand. Mortar ratio. You can mix it up first, but mix that all up, and lots of cutting, lots of grinding, and you use up some battery cells. But generally, a lot of juice. I had tons, for any job, you're not going to run out. Hammer drills too, right?
Of course. So those draw a lot of power.
Yes. But I got the one Milwaukee. It's the heaviest hammer drill they have, and I tore down an entire chimney from the above the roof line to the ground on one 12-amp battery. I mean, it was like a standard chimney. It wasn't a super wide one or anything, but I was pretty impressed by
that
battery lasted. It was a fresh battery that came with it.
That's amazing.
But this hammer drill is heavy.
Dude,
with the battery in it and everything, it is.
I'm sure your arms can handle it.
They can, but they were tired. I won't lie.
I can imagine.
If you were just a beginner in the trade and you had you would be sore. Using this thing,
dude. And that leads me to a great question because in this industry, it's especially with the masonry, very physically challenging.
Yes.
So, and I know you like to work out. I know you like to stay fit, and as I do, and as Eddie does as well.
Yes.
So, what could you tell somebody who's entering, like a gym rat or somebody? I know what I say. I always say, listen, we pay you to come to the gym. So what would you say about this industry on how it is for your body, and what it would do to keep you in shape? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it can. I know a lot of people that have been very overweight or slightly overweight that have lost a lot of weight just by coming to work.
Here we go. We got the program for you.
Yes. Don't hire a personal trainer. Don't worry about the gym. If your goal is just to lose weight and get a bit stronger,
masonry.
You just come to masonry.
That's amazing.
Now I came from the opposite end of the spectrum. When I started, I was 130 pounds.
Yeah.
I was 17 years old.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I was.
That's crazy. I feel like your leg weight is 130 pounds now. That's crazy.
Yes. My first week was rough. We were doing block work, grouting it with the grout hogs. I got all over my legs.
Yeah.
I got cement burn on my legs.
Oh, of course.
My dad got me the job, and I don't. that might have been it for me. In all honesty, I was so sore lugging around 8s and 10s.
Is that what pushed you to start? We got to make a change here.
Exactly.
I got to get stronger.
I started working out actually not right shortly after that. Then I stopped for a few years, but then I got back into it when I was about 21. So,
okay.
But no. And then if you do take care of yourself, obviously diet and stuff, a lot of one of the stereotypes, which stereotypes do exist for a reason, is our diet on construction sites is horrendous usually. Yeah.
So no, I know. Just eating off those trucks.
Yes. Eating right is a huge thing, right?
Of course.
But, staying in shape and, well, in my case, lifting heavy takes, it's different, you can lift weights all you want. If you haven't laid block in a while, you start laying 8-inch block all day, you're going to be sore.
You're going to feel it.
But I think, if you keep your body in shape, it does help.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just masonry in a whole will keep you if you're smart. That doing dumb things is where
and I've seen people
you've
do
seen me
do
dumb
shit.
things.
Yeah, I know, but still, it makes for some great content.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that shortly. But no, I know, and I do a lot of stupid shit too. But also, it's all like, even at the gym, form is everything. Yes, right. So you can also have form with what we do.
Exactly.
And that's what everyone says. It's like, avoid using your back, use your legs. Like, and these are things. It's very transferable from what you learn from a personal trainer or whatever at the gym, or just things you hear online.
Yes,
that's transferable into what we do. Exactly. Yes, we lift a lot of heavy shit, but it can be done right, and it can obviously help with your physique and the way you look. Absolutely. And you can lose weight, whatever, bigger muscles.
It's like, some construction workers that have never hit the gym, you would never, they're in such fantastic shape sometimes, and they're lean, some of them too. And so it makes the muscle that they do have exaggerated, even if it's not as big as some people that do lift weights in the gym. But like, like some of the old guys, like their forearms and stuff from years of, trowel, or lifting
their
blocks.
Forearms are like my freaking calf muscle here. Yeah.
Their hands, right? Yeah. It's just like, that's what 50 years in a trade
that's
does
the
sometimes.
Ultimate super hand strength.
Yes, exactly.
But
that's stuff you don't get in a gym.
No, right? That's right. So, you're right. Yep. And I feel like your stabilizer muscles are being worked a lot more in our trade than what you could do at the gym. Because a lot of people are just doing like compound movements or things like that. But with us, dude, we're climbing up, we're climbing down, we're taking bricks, we're squeezing them, we're lifting them. Like, it's, even
how
as a
bricklayer,
squish
together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the brick tongs too. Like, that's I love brick tongs. Yeah. If I'm carrying them far, like like, I don't have a forklift usually. If the contractor I work for has a forklift, I'll take advantage of it. But of course, my jobs don't require one. But sometimes you got to move 300 or 400 bricks.
That's right.
And I'll just do shrugs.
That's it.
Them, See, make it a workout, right?
You make work your gym.
Yes.
But one thing I want to touch on is, here's the thing that I've noticed in this industry when it comes to obviously masonry. And I know like concrete and forms, very heavy, physically challenging. Now we start very early, 7 a.m. Or 7:30 a.m. or even 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, depending on the weather.
Now a lot of these guys are they're literally just rolling out of bed, going to work, sitting in the van or whatever it is, or driving. They get to the job site and then boom, heavy strenuous activity. Yeah. But that's how injuries occur. Yes. And one thing I think is so important, and you can touch on this, but is to do some sort of exercise prior to work. I'm not saying, do a 1 hour intense workout, which I like to do intense workouts, but it's not for everybody that early.
Of course not.
But any type of movement just to get those muscles warmed up, so you're not doing strenuous, heavy activity at work on cold muscles, because that's when you pull shit.
No, I think that's a great idea. And that's, like I say this, but I don't stretch usually or anything like that. But that is great. Yeah. Any injury I've ever had in the gym has been from going in either not hydrated enough and not warming up in some form of, like, just throwing up heavy dumbbells without, getting, fire, warmed up first. Yeah. And the same goes, anytime I ever hurt myself in construction has basically been in the early morning, right? You're not, pulled something, not a major injury, but it screws you up for a little while.
Of course.
And, it doesn't happen at the end of the day usually, unless it's a hot day.
And I'm saying this because I went through it. Yep. So it was tough, man. I was lifting a large piece of precast onto a garage lintel. Okay.
Yeah.
No warm up, no nothing. And I grabbed that piece.
Yeah.
And as I went to go lift it onto the lintel, boom! I felt a sharp pain right down here. And I pulled the muscle right. So I think it actually
like in your back or your chest.
No, it was more my lat.
Like your lat,
My lat, but it was also soft tissue tear that happened in between my ribs.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was hard to breathe and everything. It was crazy. And I didn't understand what happened. And then it literally was constant physio, acupuncture, everything to just kind of help it, heal. Yeah. And it's hard for me to sit on my ass at home. I ended up going right to work after.
Of course.
But it was, and that's literally when I learned that I need to warm up my muscles to prevent anything like that from happening again. And it's never happened again.
Yes.
But how do you feel about people in this industry going for, regular massages, physiotherapy, chiro, things like that? How do you feel about that?
I personally do that regularly. Not so much lately, because ever since I've been self-employed, the benefit, I don't have the benefit, I get paid for it out of pocket. But there was a while there where I was going regularly. And in anything with like strenuous activity, like the first thing the massage person says is like, your muscle fat, like they can feel like it's,
tight.
It's tight, it's dense, it's not proper. You got to work that. And even bodybuilders, powerlifters, they do this regularly. They go sometimes multiple times a week
construction workers
and they
do
should.
it?
They really should. And a lot of people have those on their benefits that are in the industry, and they don't use them, right? And chiro,
that's the thing. I provide benefits.
Yes, you do, exactly. And they should take full advantage of that.
I tell them all.
The chiro is one of my favorite things to go to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You see those videos on Instagram,
I know,
man?
exactly.
Oh my God,
it's so
that's
satisfying
hilarious.
to watch that. And, the first time I ever went to one, I was freaked out. I'm like, he's just like...
Dude, who the hell is making your bones crack? I want to know who's working on this guy.
He grabs my head and does, the thing, and I resisted and cranked it. He's like, do not do that.
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
just
supposed to
I don't know, man.
You're supposed to just be like,
so
loosey-goosey.
But like right away, I'm just like, he turns my head, I'm like, nope, and I cranked it. He's just like, don't do that. Sorry, reaction.
That's hilarious.
So but no, and then just it's I love that. I love the sound.
You're crazy. You're sick. I've never done chiro, to be honest. Never.
Oh man.
Never.
Yeah,
I go to physio regularly.
Yeah, I've never been to a physio.
I love massages. I love treating myself to massages. But physio, literally every single week. Every Wednesday I go to physio because I did fuck up my rotator cuff. It's a natural industry in this. It's a natural injury in this industry.
It sure is.
So I do try and take care of it. As you know, those are super tiny muscles, and I just don't want to screw them up anymore. My dad just went through a surgery. And he was off for quite some time, man. He couldn't use his arm. I just don't want to get to that point. So that's why I think all that stuff's important. There is a lot of preventative things that we can do. To help make sure that these injuries don't happen, right? So, and that's why I think there is a lot of misconception when you hear people talk about, it's like some parents are like, an office job, get an office job, be a lawyer, be a doctor, whatever. It's easier on your body, this and that. But at the end of the day, like, people are injuring themselves because of things that they're not doing that they should be doing, like those extra warm-ups and massages and things of that nature.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff you can do. And like I said, to touch on diet would be one of them.
Yeah.
Too. Like, a lot of people eat
garbage, man.
Day.
Garbage. But that's also, dude, that's a lot
garbage.
to do
Don't
with,
get me wrong, but I eat a lot of good stuff too. But
that's a lot to do with the fucking the industry, the food industry.
That absolutely. It's
so I don't want to. That's a whole other topic.
It's a whole other thing, and it is very hard, but it can be done. But
absolutely, it's all here. We all make choices in life, and people, if they choose to eat shit, they choose to eat shit. And guess what? Well, you put in. If you put shit in, you get shit out. And that's the way it is.
Exactly.
So I'm a firm believer in eating healthy. I would prefer to just eat a shit ton of vegetables and fruits and, my whole grains and beets and nuts, all that stuff. That's what I would prefer is the really good shit because you need good fuel to get a good output. We're just like vehicles, man. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
It's what we're putting inside us. If you're putting 87 octane in your race cars or your Ferraris, you're going to get poor performance. But if you're putting like a 95 high octane into your Ferraris or race vehicles or whatever it is, you're going to get good output.
Exactly.
So that's the way I look at it. Yeah, man.
For sure.
So usually at the end of these episodes, I like to ask a few questions, okay? So bear with me. This is our second episode. I'm getting used to this. Eventually it's going to become like natural for me to just go through these questions. But I'll just start with the first one here, and I can help you with my answer to, assist you.
Sure.
But regardless, they're simple, straightforward questions. So this is just what we want to do kind of moving forward to basically close off the podcast, right? Close off the episode. So first question, what's the most bizarre or unexpected obstacle you've encountered on a project, and how did you overcome that?
Oh, there's there's so many.
Bizarre. Yeah, okay. Give us one, man. Give us one.
There's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pick any one.
I just think of
the
fucking
most bizarre.
Yeah. Keep it PG too, eh?
Yeah. That is a good question. I wish I would have been prepared for
I know.
that
So that's okay. Like I always think of like a fucking raccoon on the scaffold. That was my most bizarre.
That's happened to me.
Yeah. And I don't do well with rodents, especially that size, hissing at me with
if you look back on my Instagram, way when I started posting things, I had a picture way back when I would help. The guy that got me started doing chimneys is actually my original boss's nephew.
Okay.
And we were working on a lake outside town, and the raccoon starts climbing up the rungs of the 5-footers.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And we're like, how do we get this guy down? And we're making more planks and throwing our lunch, trying to lure him down. You can't kick him down. Right? We're just like, what do you do? But the most obstacle. I remember one from last year where there's this might be one of the most crazy ones.
Here we go.
I have a guy that comes helps me out sometimes.
Okay.
He's very late all the time.
Okay.
Luckily, he pulled up just in time.
He's one of those.
There was a chimney that I gave a quote on in the winter, and I go and I finally show up to get it done because I'm really far behind at the beginning of the year this year. This is a crazy year, by the way.
Yeah.
I got everything wrapped up finally, but I'm up there. We built the scaffolding the day before. We had a few other things to do around this house. So today was the day to start the chimney. So I had the dump trailer backed in, had the pulley on, had the scaffolding. So he's a bit late. So I start cutting the cap. It's a poured concrete cap, right? And there's 3 flues in this chimney.
Okay.
And so the cap's heavy, right?
Yep.
And I start trying to
heavy for you or heavy for your average?
Big.
I'm just playing.
It's big. You wouldn't be lifting this no matter how strong you were.
Yeah.
And so that's why I cut it into quarters, right?
Okay.
So if you look, I'll find.
Work smarter, not harder, folks.
So they had taken pieces of brick to get the flues up a bit higher. So the flues had openings right into the chimney, so totally defeating the.
Wow.
It was going back in. All the bricks were black on the inside, and they were,
of course.
But so all 3 of these flues were set up the brick header higher than they should be, right? So there's a gap everywhere. But then when you pour the concrete, it adheres to these flues. So I start chipping out bricks. Well, the whole thing starts crumbling, tipping down. Like would have went through the roof. And I grab this chimney. And I'm like, holy shit.
Come on.
And then he just pulls up my butt. I'm like, man, get up here right now. Get the hammer drill. Come on, get up. Yeah. I'm holding and I'm scared. I don't know if it would have came down if I let go. But I am holding this with my life. I'm like, this can only go bad if this. So he comes up and he starts chipping out the cap and starts taking off the pieces. Yeah. And then we found out, that's because it was essentially the bricks were rotting. And then once it dropped down, the flues were all with the cap, and it just all came down like one corner, and it was scary.
That's crazy.
And
no, that's bizarre.
Yeah, it was unexpected.
That's crazy.
And
wild, dude.
I'm glad he pulled up when he did, and I'm glad I'm fairly strong.
No doubt, man. I know, dude. Because sometimes I have to bring lateral supports for certain block walls I put up. Yeah. I know who to call.
Yeah.
Next question. Okay, if construction were an Olympic sport, what sport would each trade be? So, tough question.
That is.
Very tough question.
Well, yeah.
So, I don't know what you would relate to soccer.
Weightlifting is an Olympic sport, right?
So, here's my example. Okay? Soccer. Mm-hmm. Sorry, electricians.
Right. I was just going to say, I know.
Soccer.
I can tell by your face. Electricians. I already knew that.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's my example.
Sorry, all electricians I'm friends with.
I still love my Sparkies. So that's one. I don't know if you can think of one.
Well, but,
what could baseball relate to?
Well, baseball.
Or sorry, we're talking Olympic sports.
Olympic sport. Yeah, baseball. Sorry. I don't know much about sports. This is
where hockey. I know. Sorry, man.
So,
what could relate to hockey, or what could relate to high jump or something like that? That's what we're talking. Olympic
what's
sports.
a really physical, not heavy, but strenuous job, where you got
pole vaulting.
Yeah,
I'll relate that to a scaffolder or something.
Those iron workers and millwrights and stuff like that go through some crazy stuff.
That's true.
I worked with a millwright company for almost 8 years, only in the winters when we get laid off, and that's a trade I really respect.
Okay.
They make everything work somehow.
That's an Olympic sport on its own.
Exactly. And you know, is powerlifting, weightlifting is an Olympic sport.
Yeah, powerlifting.
That's got to be like concrete or masonry
concrete,
or iron
masonry,
workers, you know, picking up the heavy steel like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Skateboarding's an Olympic sport now. Do you
Come
know that?
on.
I'm dead serious. I couldn't believe it because I used to skateboard a lot as a kid. And
yo, we got to see what you do. I have a couple skateboards out here.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to.
We'll save that for after.
Yep.
Okay. We'll make sure you don't get injured though.
Yes.
It'll work on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Got a holiday, Canadian holiday.
Is
Family
Tuesday
Day.
a holiday? I thought
Family
it was
Day.
Monday.
Monday.
Yes.
What's today?
Sunday.
Today's Sunday. Yeah, tomorrow's a holiday.
Are you working?
Happy Family Day. No.
Yeah.
Statutory holiday. Got to pay everybody, but nobody's working.
Yeah.
I love my holidays just as much as all the employees.
Yes. I think they like it more.
I think they do.
Yeah. You got to cut a big check for that.
Yeah, no doubt. Next question. The construction industry is evolving rapidly.
Absolutely.
What emerging trends do you predict will reshape the way we build into the next decade?
Absolutely. Cordless is one of them.
Boom.
I mean, that's already done.
And we've seen that at the expo.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's going into the next level now. Like the Zoom Boom we saw that we tried out.
That's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And
I love the sound over.
Yeah. And like not so much it's ready for our trade yet. But factory work,
warehouse,
stuff like that. Like you said,
like
the chicken catchers use them.
That's right.
Absolutely. Like that's great. You know, you
Going
got zero emissions.
Yep.
Changing the battery seems like quite the job because I asked right away, like, oh, you need another forklift to change the battery. But
how heavy was that?
He didn't know for sure, but he said it was around 500 pounds. And that's a little machine.
You need another machine to take out that battery.
That's kind of what he was joking around with. You really do, but you don't though. There is a dolly system you can do to jack it up.
Sure, they would have had to.
Yeah, but he said it overall takes about 10 or 15 minutes to change the battery, and then you got another 8 or 9 hours of working.
Yeah,
and it will last an 8-hour workday under a normal load.
That's right.
So let's charge it overnight. You need 220 or whatever, which is maybe difficult sometimes. Everyone's fighting over power on a job site,
of course.
Especially
and let alone 220. Like
220. Yeah, the welders will be wanting that,
of course.
But But yeah, definitely cordless is definitely one of the big ones for sure. And
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Every trade has cordless tools almost now. Like
we have them too.
Yeah, like you do.
We're DeWalt guys.
Yeah, you're DeWalt guys.
Yeah.
So
whatever. Okay, don't hate on us, okay? But black and yellow.
It's okay.
Black and yellow.
But no, DeWalt's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's funny. Man. People like to butt
it's just a name you're going for.
Exactly.
Samsung, iPhone, DeWalt, Milwaukee.
My favorite color is red. That's why I have Hilti tools and Milwaukee tools.
Boom. I like bumblebees, okay? So
exactly.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
Next question. What makes you unique as a person for the job site? I'm thinking the size of this guy.
Probably that I'm usually there have been cases where there's been a stronger guy.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Yeah.
But And normally I'm the guy that has to go pick up the heavy stuff.
I answer that for you.
Yeah. That's definitely the one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, and then people are like, hey, can you pick that up? Can you pick that up?
We've done that a few times.
Exactly. I remember the one time we moved the coping, and you left.
Yeah.
And you're like, I came back and it was all moved to where it was supposed to be. He's like, there's no forklift here. I'm like, I carried that. You're like, you didn't.
Yeah.
And then you videotape. You're like, do it. I'm videotaping this. I pick it up.
Dude, any job site you're on next?
What those would weigh.
Any job site you come on with us just to help out next, I'm going to get rid of my telehandler.
Exactly. Give it a break.
That's it. Give it a break and we'll let muscles take over.
Yep.
So what's a habit or routine you've adopted recently that's made a positive difference in your day-to-day life?
Day-to-day life in general or in the site?
Day-to-day life in general.
I've been trying to get a lot more sleep lately.
Sleep's important.
I am bad.
Sleep's important.
I slept 4 or 5 hours a day for the longest time.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, I've been getting 6 or 7 now.
There you go. Like so 6 or 7, I think.
And it's made a difference. Like, I'd always be like, oh yeah. And my body just naturally wants to. I have a hard time falling asleep. I have no problem staying asleep.
Okay.
So, when you got to get up at a certain time, I always get up at that time. But, it's like I'm not tired at 10 or 11 or 12. Sometimes
really?
At 1, I get up at 6 or 5:30 or whatever. So now I've been about 10 o'clock.
Well, at least now you're getting those extra hours because sleep is so important.
It is very important.
Like it has a role to play in the level of energy that you have through your day.
The energy, but also your brain, like focus, like thinking. Like you can't think properly if you're tired.
Yeah, man. You gotta if you're fogged.
Yeah.
and your focus is fogged, then what's that do to the rest of your day? Especially running your own business.
You start making dumb mistakes that don't need to be made, right? You start forgetting things, all you're thinking about is getting home.
That's it.
And that exactly. If that's what you're focused on, especially on like my jobs, every day is different pretty well, 2 or 3 day jobs. Sometimes they're 1 day jobs, but I got to do something different every day. I got to be, you got to think, you got to be sharp, remember everything you need for that job.
Can't forget nothing.
Exactly. It's not like you show up to a house every day and everything's there.
That's right.
So,
and you're not borrowing anything from any other masons around.
Exactly.
Because you're the only one there.
Yeah.
So
that does what I do anyways.
Yeah.
But there's lots of not lots, but there's more houses than people can keep up with, though. That's
right.
Sure. So
of course.
That's why I do the odd one.
Yeah.
Odd two a year usually.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
If you can, why not?
Exactly.
So that's all right. And I know you do get some helpers, right? And I know your dad.
My dad helps me a lot. Yeah. He's not a bricklayer, but he's an excellent joiner and an excellent.
Makes a great
laborer. That's not his job, but he's very good at laboring.
Yeah.
So he comes out a lot. And
it's good to have that help.
Yep. And then he has his helper who helps me a lot too on weekends and stuff. So
perfect.
He comes out, and then I got my buddy who comes out. He's a very good bricklayer.
Nice.
But he's working for Advance right now.
Oh yeah,
but,
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, so he was off for a while.
Okay.
He was working for Kapler, so he was off for a while.
Okay.
And so he helped me a lot this year get caught up. Like 3 months straight. He was
That's awesome.
Almost every day.
That's perfect.
I wouldn't have got
that
caught
probably
up.
helped you so much.
I would have so much work from last year to do this spring that I'm now caught up on. And that would have people generally understand, but some people are impatient.
Of course, when people want things done, they want it done like yesterday.
Exactly. So,
yeah, man. Next question: if you could teleport to any place on Earth right now, where would you go, and what would you do there? I love this question.
That's a good one. Somewhere, either with a lot more snow, or I could snowmobile all week.
There you go.
Or somewhere that has zero snow.
Yeah,
but
it's one or the other.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would go anywhere with a cool racetrack where you could drive a fast car. That sounds fun.
Just go to Germany.
Exactly. Germany,
get on the Autobahn.
The Nürburgring.
I've never.
You never know what that is?
That's in Germany.
I think it's one of the world's biggest racetracks.
Okay, and that's where I think. Top Gear.
They've been there for sure.
Yeah, and they were testing the Bugatti.
No, that was at Volkswagen's personal. I remember that.
Okay,
they have
that was
their
a cool
own
episode,
crazy
man.
track.
That was a
yes,
cool
but it's in Germany as well.
Okay,
but no, the Nürburgring is where they base every car on, every performance car. Like they
nice.
the lap time for there,
Sweet.
and whatever that is what it is. And some cars can make it around. Well, the fastest cars, I think they've broken. I think they're under 7 minutes now. But still, that racetrack going all out takes 7 minutes generally to go.
That's
around.
crazy.
So that would be fun.
7 exhilarating minutes. That's amazing.
That would be fun.
Okay, I'm coming there with you then.
Yes.
If we're teleporting now, we're going now.
We're going.
We'll be back, Eddie.
Get some Porsches and some Lambos out there.
Yeah, give me a
You can probably
Pagani.
rent cars. I don't know. You can bring your own car there. I know that.
I'm just gonna Turo it.
Yeah, exactly. Go on Turo.
I'm gonna
find the
Airbnb
exotics.
my car. Yeah, that's it.
Or go to a nice fancy rental car place. Using this on the track. They got GPSs and all those now. I follow two guys that own
man, they took the car to the racetrack again.
Yep, and they can tell like all the engine what it's doing. Right, this guy's doing burnouts. This guy's doing this. It's crazy.
He's just in a parking lot doing figure eights.
You got to be so careful now when you rent those cars because they get pissed off.
Of course, it's a lot of money.
Yep.
All right, moves me on to the next question here. What's a skill or hobby you've always wanted to learn but haven't yet? What's been holding you back?
That's a good question. A skill or hobby?
You ever want to paint some pictures or something?
No. Can't say I have. Well, you know what? I'm a big car guy. And I would love to, like I said, just bring that. I'd love to. I've been on a drag strip before.
Okay.
But to go on a racetrack.
Yeah.
I think that
would be fun. Get some circuit track time.
Like to actually be able to drive.
Yep.
Like,
dude, have you ever gone to CSCS like KU guy?
No,
they
where I went
to go public with your car.
I have been to that drag strip on my C63 that I used to have years ago, and that was fun. I went down there a few times, but no, the problem with that is to drive a car there. I think your insurance is void.
Oh, really?
I don't think because maybe
Dude,
you
I
can
never
purchase
thought
extra
about that.
but that's the only thing that's holding
scary.
me back is wrecking an expensive car.
Dude, that's scary.
But what's cool though about Cayuga is they do winter course there too. So you
Cool.
can take like your beater winter car and go drive the crap out of it. You're going to go buy a $1,000 car.
Yeah, I'd take something all-wheel drive out there. A nice,
that would be fun.
Subaru or something, a nice WRX.
Yeah, WRX Bringer. Yep, that would be perfect for that.
I want to learn to
especially
drift.
if you bought a cheap one.
Yeah.
And you wreck it, who cares?
Who cares?
Even if it's still, scruff it up a little bit, it's still drivable.
Oh, yeah.
But no, that would be fun. I've always wanted to do that.
Drifting, man.
Yes.
That's something that I want to do. I've wanted to do for so long. And when the time's right, I'll get me like a 6 Skyline R32 or something imported.
Yeah.
One of those Nismo cars.
The big ones.
The big drifters.
You get a 350Z for a good price, and they're
350Z, the 240SX.
Or like a C5 Corvette or anything like that would be
I want to drift.
Yes.
I want to drift. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
All right. We're getting down to the last 2 questions here. So reflecting on the past year, Matt, what's one thing that you're proud of accomplishing?
Well, proud of accomplishing in the last year.
Yep. Or even further back. It's up to you, man.
Well, I mean, starting on my own would be one, but that's been 3 years.
Yeah.
So
that's a big accomplishment. Big risk.
Yeah, more recent. It would probably be, I don't know. In general, it'd be the investment in the tools and the equipment I have and stuff like that. There's no
You've leveled up on equipment,
yes,
that's for sure.
Like that's one thing. Like the first year and a half probably doing this, I was working part-time with you sometimes.
That's right.
Full-time with you sometimes. And before that with GA.
Yep.
But every dollar I made for the first year and a half, probably on the side, went to tools.
Yeah.
I didn't make any money. Trailers, tools, scaffolding.
You gotta invest, dude. Those are investments.
Yes. I would just work to pay for to get, and then now it's, it's great.
Dude, it makes your life how much easier.
Yeah. But in terms of the last year, there's no particular project I think I'm overly proud of that happened. I mean, there is years ago, but if you look back, there's one job I'm happy that it got done. Nice. The guy called me in the winter. I went and checked it out. It was in Chesley, 20 minutes from my house. He had a carport with these triple arches. I don't know if you remember that. If I posted it, dude, it's on one of my pinned posts on my page.
Definitely
You'll see
seen
it.
this. I definitely seen this.
It's on a pinned post. That is probably one I'm proud of because we don't do a lot of arches these days, especially freestanding.
I was just gonna say that.
So, I thought he wanted it done by July, but he wanted it done in June. So he called me checking when I'm coming, and I'm like, oh crap! I thought I had another month to get at this. So he's like, no, I need it done. I'm like, fine, we're coming. And that was lucky when my first job, my buddy started helping me out on. So it was a great help. And they already existed, but they were failing. Yeah. The arch it was too shallow of an arch, let's say. Okay. So it had been repaired a few times, just pointed. That's not gonna help. It was gonna collapse at some point. Yep. And we built that back way nicer than the original. Dude,
it looked phenomenal. I know exactly what job
we took our time on that, but it was a job that I was scared of, let's say, because not that I haven't done arches before, but to rebuild it all, make it look beautiful, because that's like a whole separate piece from the house. Like, everyone's gonna look at that. Everyone's gonna look at that.
That's the true work of an artist.
Yes, and it turned out amazing. Yeah, it couldn't have gone better,
dude. That's
so awesome. I was real relieved when I came there. It stripped the forms down. Fixed up the joints underneath, and he was happy.
That's amazing.
And, it was great.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I drove by it the other day, and it looks great in the winter.
You killed it, dude. You killed it.
It was a small job, but it was definitely a unique job.
Challenges are good too, man. I know, I'm sure it was challenging for you.
It was one of those jobs where, I was generally like, this is going to be tricky.
I can relate to that, man.
So,
there's jobs
absolutely.
Where you're
You've taken on some big stuff.
What did I get myself into?
Exactly.
But you know what my favorite slogan motto is? Just do it.
Yeah.
That's Nike's slogan.
Somebody's got to do it.
Just do it.
And guess what?
Nike's slogan is not just think about it.
A lot of these jobs, people, especially these stupid little jobs, people, they won't do.
No.
And, it's like, somebody's got to do it. Well,
that's
might as well be me.
That's it.
Right?
Take it. Yeah, it might be a little bit intimidating, the job.
You don't make as much money or lose money sometimes, it's like you learn something at least.
You learn something, you did it, now you drive by it just like you said, you're happy about it. So this is, this last question brings me to essentially why we created this podcast and why we're, very, very excited to, launch this all over every social media platform. Is, to welcome more of the younger generation in, right?
So, and which we need.
Them. This is a powerful question here. So our mission with this podcast is to inspire the next generation to explore the world of trades, whether it's masonry or framing or plumbing or electrical, whatever it be. So my question is, what advice can you share with them to help them recognize the rewarding potential awaiting in this field? Well, what advice could you give somebody who is looking at this industry, no matter what trade it is, and they're thinking like, should I jump into this? Should I jump into construction? Should I jump into the community of the blue collar network? Should I do this?
Well, it certainly isn't for everybody, but
that's right.
It can be for a lot of people. Yeah. I have friends in high school who you never would have thought would have gotten into like a blue collar job. Like they were, top grades, like destined for like,
white collar.
They don't regret it though. They're so happy.
Yep.
And, obviously the wage is good. Every trade pays well, usually. I mean, compared to so many people come out of college with debt, and
that's right.
That's one thing we've never had, I guess. I mean, I
never went to school.
I've always been making money.
That's right.
So that's first of all the best thing.
Yeah.
You might not make a whole lot at the start.
That's right.
But, in 4 years,
but you got to get started.
You got to get started. And, making a little bit of money is better than paying money, in my opinion. Like you said, there's the, you stay fit. You stay way more fit doing it. I mean, there is out of shape construction workers, but not too many.
There's young guys who want to get in this industry and want to look like this. Then what are you waiting for?
Exactly. And then, of course, there's, it is good pay, but you can advance in it too. Like, like me or you, especially you, like, look at where you are.
Yeah.
Right. It's, it's not like you're stuck with a job. You can go on your own because there's work for you.
Oh my God, there's going to be so much.
It's crazy. Like in any trade, there's no trade where there's not somebody, there's no job I've been on where like, hey, do you know a window guy? Do you know a guy that can put my door in? Do you know an electrician? Do you know a plumber? That's a big one. Do you know a plumber? And I don't know many plumbers. And then like even like siding, like, we don't care for them, but
no, I know, but still there's a need. There's a demand for every trade.
Yes, there is. Trade. No trade is there not work.
That's
drywall.
Right.
Drywall's a big one. Everyone's looking for drywall.
Like
painters. Right?
Structures are just going to continue to get built, and whether they're residential, commercial, or institutional. Right? And there's always repairs.
There's always repairs.
There's always repairs.
People that repaired chimneys 30 years ago, I'm fixing now, and then, those will need to be done. But there's constant deterioration of some sort on masonry.
You're not going to run out of work.
No.
The only way is if you're fucking lazy, and that's it. So don't be lazy.
And that's the thing, it's like, the people that don't have work, I'm usually just late, or they're not particularly don't got a good reputation, let's say, or
there's other things in their life that are holding them back from really their true potential.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but no, it's absolutely. It might be a rough go. It certainly was for me, probably for you,
as it is for everyone.
But tough it out.
Yep.
And like we touched on too, it's not as bad as when we started. Generally, like working for you is a lot better than working for our old bosses for sure.
The equipment's getting better too. Like,
and
it's getting easier.
It is safer generally too. I mean, like there's exceptions there, but generally you have to be safe. Like
that's right.
It's a big thing. If you're not, like, you can lose everything real quick.
That's right.
And work smart, and you'll get somewhere.
Yeah,
for
man.
Sure. But no, it's any trade. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be done. And they need, right?
Absolutely. There is definitely a need. Huge demand. And thank you for answering that, because this is obviously something that's going to be shared with a much younger demographic. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of viewers anyways with regards to the Masons Conversations. But at the end of the day, it's good for people like yourself and myself and many of our guests that will be on the show here and have been on the show who share their little snippet of why they think it's so important for individuals who are looking at this industry and kind of hesitant to jump into it.
Yes.
To realize that it's not all that bad. It's not what other people make it seem to be.
That's
so,
you know, a lot of people shun
man.
on the, you know, it's too hard, it's hard work, it doesn't pay well, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, it's all good.
We got to change their mindset. And I think we're doing that here with the Masons conversation. So thank you so much, Matt, once again for being on our show.
That was great.
Super grateful. So happy to have you here. I know you drove from far, especially in this weather.
In this bad weather, yeah.
Thank you so much.
I was only 20 minutes late, too.
No, you did good, man. You did good. So happy, dude.
Yeah, no.
Awesome. Sweet. So that's a wrap. Mics are cold.